Hi y'all, today we're going to be talking about the VELR Obelisk. It's a Doku Generation battle rifle, and I hated it. I could not Araxium it. I absolutely despise this thing. It's pretty rough in my opinion. It has its uses, don't get me wrong, and it is strong at the niche it occupies. But I didn't like it. So it's a 185 RPM at 334 rifle, and it does not drop at all, meaning that it is a 3 body shot kill or 2 headshot kill at every single range, which is strong. Muzzle velocity is okay at 550, reload speed is a flat 3 seconds, but this only matters if you overheat the gun. Your ammunition pool is 6, and it's a heat-based ammunition pool. So, like all other heat weapons, the more you fire it and the more it generates heat, you stop firing it, it starts cooling down. Actually a fairly decent gimmick on the Obelisk, but I don't think it's as strong as most people would claim it to be, because with a 3-second reload, if you had to manually reload it a lot, I personally would rather have the bigger ammunition pool than have the heat mechanic. But it's decent, I just don't think it's an utter game changer. Hipfire accuracy is junk, aim accuracy is pretty good. So, I didn't like the Obelisk. I really didn't like the Obelisk. I couldn't even force myself to Araxium this thing. It is not my kind of gun. It very much demands very strong mechanical aim, and honestly, when I used it a lot of the time, I wasn't very good. It's absolutely a gun that requires a lot of skill to use, and this is becoming cliche with every single scout rifle I've reviewed at this point, but guess what? If you have the skill to use the Obelisk, you have the skill to use the Vandal. I hate to say it, but it's good at what it does, but for most situations, I would just bring a Vandal instead. So in the way of attachments, pick your poison. If you're trying to spec into more of the long-range build, you could always go for a 2x or a 3.4. I run a 1. But largely it depends on your own personal preference at the end of the day. I would absolutely run the flash suppressor. It's called the Enhanced Plasma Containment on the Doku guns, but it's a flash suppressor. It works as a flash suppressor. It's a free slot filler, just take it. Now, you do get some interesting options on the rail, namely manual calibration and safety override, so we'll talk about those last. The comfort grip is fine, you just get better equip speed, and you don't honestly notice the recoil change at all because the gunfire is too slow for it to matter. Darklight is a throw. So, manual calibration gives you 4 more shots, but hits your cooldown rate by 25%. I honestly believe this is a straight upgrade. Sure, you do lose 25% cooldown speed, but you gain 4 rounds. You essentially gain 40% more magazine in exchange for losing 25% cooldown. In my experience, it's a net upgrade, and having those extra shots for when you inevitably miss is really nice, but if you really value the cooldown rate, or the other attachment here, it's not mandatory. Safety override is weird. It lets you hip fire from the hip automatically, and it also makes your hip fire quota fire a bit better, still not very good. It doubles your rate of fire, and the damage per shot is cut in half. Now, the safety override is funny. I wouldn't recommend it. It's decent, but it's a little tough. If you haven't noticed, Dark Force and Cinder are just joking around on my camera. You've probably noticed them by now. They know I'm recording, and I know you two are probably going to watch this to see this, so I hate you. Anyway, safety override, not that good, kind of funny though. Now, it is good with unstable ammunition, because unstable is very good on the Obelisk, because it's a 3-shot body shot no matter what, and yes, of course it is a 2-headshot, but having unstable ammo is really nice on this gun. I'm going to grab it for myself. It's really nice on the Obelisk. It benefits the Obelisk play a lot, and given that you are a 3-shot kill no matter what, it doesn't really matter. You can combo it with the safety override, as I mentioned, for some really interesting hipfire builds, but that one's largely up to you. So, of course, now we're going to go into some actual gameplay. It's nascent. Oh, joy. Wait, we have 11... Oh, okay, this might not be a very good, very good combat session. We'll do what we can. We'll do what we can. So, as I've mentioned previously, I did not like the Obelisk. It was not a gun that I could enjoy enough to put an Araxium on. Now, do I think it's a bad rifle? No, not at all. I think it's actually quite good at what it does. However, because of its slow rate of fire and high damage per bullet, it is very mechanical aim dependent. If you do not have a good aim, or if you're not good at the game too, I suppose, I would not for a second think about running the Obelisk. It just isn't that good if you have bad aim. However, if you have good aim, it is very, very strong. Or if you're willing to leverage unstable ammunition, it is also very, very good. Of course, unstable will not correct all aim problems, but it will help them out significantly. Still, for me, myself, it's too slow firing to feel fun to use. Yes, it does kill effectively. Yes, it has its uses. Yes, it has no damage fall-off, which makes it very good at range. But it still doesn't feel like a fun weapon to use, in my opinion. This is purely subjective. I did not find it a fun weapon to use because I don't like low rate of fire weapons. Personally, I find them really, really boring. I find them really, really unsatisfying to use. I find them really, really punishing if you mess up. And in general, I don't like them. Now, the Obelisk falls straight into this trap. And this is not really a fault of the gun, more so a fault of my own playstyle, but I'm still going to note it because it's my video. Now, of course, as per usual, as I've already alluded to, the elephant in the room is the Vandal. Now, it's true the Obelisk has its niche, and it's quite good at this niche. While I may not personally like it, it's not a bad gun by any means. It absolutely has its strengths, it absolutely has its reasons to exist. That said, the Vandal is usually better. And it's an unfortunate fact of reality with scout rifles currently. The Vandal is usually a better rifle, as long as you have the skill to actually use it. Because, let's face it, if you can't drop people with this thing, if you do not have the aim to kill people with this thing reasonably effectively, you will lose engagements. And because your magazine is not that big, even with manual calibration, well, to put it bluntly, you're going to have a bad time. You better get really used to using a pistol, and a pistol that you like using to boot. You're going to be amazed if I actually evade this situation. Wow.
It's appearing before me.
Oh, wow, I cannot believe I got away with that. Oh my. Oh, Cinder, I know that's you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try not let them completely derail this. Oh, my friends are treasures. Back to the Obelisk. So, the Vandal is usually just better. Ultimately, if you have the mechanical aim to be headshotting, the Vandal will perform better in most situations. Of course, it will not always perform better. Wow, that was a good fusion hit. The Vandal will usually perform better, has .75 ADS, better hipfire accuracy, fires significantly quicker while having similar damage models. Of course, not quite as good, but you get the point. The Vandal is just currently unmatched in the scout rifle department. However, the Obelisk I would probably put as a comfortable second or third. It largely depends on your preferences in scouts, what damage model you like in the scout rifles, and if you like the autos or not. But I do think it is worth Araximing if you're going for your scout rifle directive. And honestly, if you really want a heat-based scout rifle, you know what? It's honestly better. It's significantly better than the Revenant. The Revenant is not as good as the Obelisk. So if you want a heat-based scout rifle, get the Obelisk. And we're going to recap it here with this big message right on the screen, because it's funny to me. So, in recap, the Obelisk is good, but it requires good aim. Unstable ammo does allow it to be very, very forgiving, and it is a good rifle. Don't get me wrong. I could actually see myself going back and Araximing this gun eventually. Because at the time, when I mostly used it, I hated it. If you have aim, it's a good weapon. If you cannot aim well, and you still insist on using a scout rifle, you're better off with an auto scout, or you just slot unstable ammo and hope to do what you can. It's better than the Revenant if you're looking for a heat-based option, so if heat is the only reason to get your Revenant, just get an Obelisk instead. It's better, it's more fun to use, and with its weird attachment setup, it's quite decent. Still, if you're good, there's a Vandal in the room. And, as per usual with every single scout rifle I've touched so far, ultimately the Vandal is just that little bit better. Thank you all, and I will see you all again another time. Bye.